Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel east, taking a few moments to arrive. Peering into this large chamber, your initial thought is that it's a dining hall for the drow who dwelled down here in the stronghold. Not only that, but the dining hall is in fairly decent condition. 10 or so tables stand about, each surrounded by wooden chairs, most of the furniture in its original state. A variety of cabinets line the far eastern wall, likely containers for all the plates, silverware, flagons and such needed to feed a large group of elves within the chamber. You also notice that the ceiling is fairly high, and that several ornate chandeliers hang from the ceiling. Gazing about, let's do a party curiosity check to see if anyone notices anything further. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 13 was rolled. Failure, no, you don't notice anything further. Remaining careful, Eswin leads the party into the dining hall, looking about. Again, the chamber looks fairly normal, as if the drow last left the dining hall clean and orderly and could return at any time. Double doors lie to the north, while a single door stands to the south. Now standing near the center of the room, you continue to look around when suddenly the southern door flies open and in charge several night trolls, the monsters leaping toward you to attack. Your party is under attack. Facing the entire party are 5 night trolls. It's Murieleth's turn. What do you want her to do? Murieleth casts lightning bolt on roughly half of all encountered combatants, electrocuting them. Night troll number 1 is electrocuted for 28 points of damage. Janet uses a blink dog on night troll number 1, biting it for 2 points of damage for a half hour. It's Ariana's turn. Ariana uses a boots of speed on herself, allowing herself to act twice each round for 5. Redfern uses a hellhound pup on night troll number 1, breathing fire on it for 6 points of damage for a half hour. Night troll number 1 has been defeated. It's O'Farah's turn. What do you want her to do? O'Farah's readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at night troll number 3, needing a 16 to hit. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Needing a 50 or less on percentile dice, an 86 is rolled. It's Eswin's turn. What do you want him to do? Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at night troll number 3, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 19, +8 to hit. Eswin hits night troll. It's Senires's turn. What do you want him to do? Senires readies his mace +1 and swings at night troll number 3, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 19. Cartha readies her mace +1 and swings at night troll number 2, needing a 16 to hit. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled. Ariana uses a glowing skull throughout the entire local area, illuminating everything well. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at night troll number 1, needing a 16 to hit. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at night troll number 2, needing a 16. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at night troll number 5, needing a 16. Murieleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at night troll number 1, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 7. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at night troll number 5. Janet directs her blink dog at night troll number 1, biting it for 4 points of damage and defeating it. It's Senires's turn. What do you want him to do? Senires readies his mace +1 and swings at night troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 19, +2 to hit. O'Farah's readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at night troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at night troll number 5. Cartha readies her mace +1 and swings at night troll number 5. Redfern directs his hellhound pup at night troll number 5, breathing fire on it for 2 points of damage. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. In the darkness, Night Troll number 1 regenerates, becoming conscious again. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 3. Marioleth uses a glowing skull throughout the entire local area, illuminating everything well. Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Night Troll number 5. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 3. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 1, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 9. O'Ferries readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Night Troll number 3, needing a 16 to hit. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 2. Kartha casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 13 hit points. Night Troll number 5 attacks Ariana with its claws, needing a 24 to hit. Die roll is a 20. It's Janet's Blink Dog's turn. What do you? Janet directs her Blink Dog at Night Troll number 2, biting. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Barthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Janet directs her Blink Dog at Night Troll number 5, biting it for 5 points of damage and defeating it. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 525 experience points. Temporarily defeating the Night Trolls, the light carried by your party negates their regenerative ability to reverse their defeat in the dark, and you're able to dispatch the monsters permanently. A moment later, the southern door slams open again, and standing there is the tallest Night Troll you've encountered so far, heavily muscled and glowing runes adorning his skin like dozens of tattoos. His rage-filled eyes scan all of you, then the creature begins a spell, something you weren't expecting. Get him! Eswin cries, sensing a very powerful foe here. Your party is under attack. Coming at all of you are 2 Night Trolls and 1 Night Troll magic user. It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana readies her short bow and fires at Night Troll magic user, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 6, +6 to hit. Ariana misses Night Troll magic user. It's Eswin's turn. Eswin readies his heavy crossbow +1 and fires at Night Troll magic user, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 14, +5 to hit. Eswin hits Night Troll magic user. Barthal readies his light crossbow +2 and fires at Night Troll magic user, needing a 16. Marioleth casts Magic Missile on Night Troll magic user, striking it with a magic missile for 9 points of damage. It's Ariana's turn. What do? Ariana readies her short bow and fires at Night Troll magic user, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 19, +6 to hit. Ariana hits Night Troll magic user, doing. Janet uses a Blink Dog on Night Troll number 2, biting it for 5 points of damage for a half hour. It's Kartha's turn. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 2. O'Ferries casts Magic Missile on Night Troll number 2, striking it with a magic missile for 11 points of damage. Night Troll number 2 attacks Ariana with. It's Redfern's turn. What do you want him to do? Redfern uses a Hellhound Pup on Night Troll number 2, breathing fire on it for 1 point. It's Senires's turn. What do you want him to do? GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. Sainadius casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 2. Janet casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 11 hit points. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 2, needing. O'Ferries readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Night Troll number 2. Redfern directs his Hellhound pup at Night Troll number 2, breathing fire on it for 4 points of damage and leaving it with 12 hit points. Needing a 50 or less on percentile dice, a 29 is rolled. Success. It's Redfern's turn. What do you want him to do? Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Night Troll number 2, needing. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 2. Janet directs her Blink Dog at Night Troll number 2, biting it for 1 point of damage. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 2, needing a 16 to hit. Cartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 2, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 12, +6 to hit. GM note, a new combat round has begun. In it, Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 1, needing a 16. Barthol readies his short sword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 1, needing a 12 to hit, +4 due to hiding in shadows. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 1, needing. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Night Troll number 1. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Night Troll number 1. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 1. O'Ferries readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Night Troll number 1, needing a 16 to hit. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 1, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 16, +6 to hit. Sainadius hits Night Troll number 1, doing 8 points of damage and defeating it. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 349 experience points. The troll chieftain and his 2 lackeys finally brought down. You expose the monsters to your party's light and then set them on fire, finally destroying the night trolls. All the threats here in the dining hall neutralized. Your heroes quietly go about the task of searching the troll corpses, attempting to find anything of value or importance. These must be more of the drow turned into trolls, Ariana states after a minute or so of searching. I've found a few similar artifacts here in a pocket. Same here, Cartha returns. I still can't believe that the circle might have done all this. I can, Eswin criticizes. I can't imagine anything they wouldn't do. Searching the dining hall itself, you don't find anything out of the ordinary. The large eating area is simply that, and whatever happened down here within the drow stronghold does not appear to have affected the hall all that much. Again, there are lots of cabinets here, but most of them are locked and likely not worth your time to investigate. Exits lead away to the north, west and south. Barthol has a 55% chance of picking the lock and rolls a 76 on percentile dice. Failure, the cabinet remains locked and impassable to the party. Marioleth has a 45% chance of picking the lock and rolls a. Your heroes bash open the cabinet, destroying the locking mechanism and making its contents available. However, your act of vandalism may have destroyed some of the items hidden away within the cabinet as well. Inside, you find 7 copper pieces. Try searching the cabinet a little more and see what you might find. Deciding to search the locked cabinets anyway, they're all filled with plates, cups, cutlery, and the like, everything needed to supply the dark elves down here with the utensils needed to enjoy a good meal. All of it is in reasonably good shape, but none of it is worth anything to you. Opening a final cabinet and rummaging around, you're surprised to find a modest bowl that does not look like it belongs here. Inspecting the bowl, it is black in color but contains decorations representing the 4 elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Janet, let's do an intelligence check on your hero to see if you know what this is. Needing a 13 or less from Janet, a 4 was rolled. Success, yes. You're reasonably sure that this is a bowl of elemental control, which will allow you to control any earth, air, fire, or water elemental you may encounter. Nice find, it likely will come in handy. The chamber now thoroughly searched and resolved, exits lead away to the north, west and south. Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel south, taking a few moments to arrive, passing through the northern door and into this modest kitchen. You're surprised to find that it's still in reasonably good shape, as if it had just been used within the last few days. This is, of course, where several night trolls just emerged from, but they haven't damaged the kitchen all that much. The walls are lined with shelves containing jars of rare herbs, dried meats, and mysterious concoctions. A massive hearth crackles in the far southern wall, casting flickering shadows across the room. You suspect the fire is magical but, likely, is nothing to be concerned with. Giving the kitchen a thorough search, you basically find two things of interest. First, there is a lot of food and water here, most of which is still edible and drinkable, the equivalent of 100 rations and 100 water skins. You're surprised by the wholesome diet of the dark elves down here. They certainly ate better than their descendants back in Leakley. Second, you find what must be a cookbook, full of recipes aimed at the drow palate. The cookbook is written entirely in the dark elf language, of course, but it seems well made, thorough and intriguing. The only person here who can fluently speak drow, O'Ferries takes the book and begins paging through it, rather surprised at its scope and thoroughness. Several moments later, O'Ferries comes across a single, folded parchment inserted between the pages of the book. Removing the parchment and opening it, the sorceress then describes its contents. Interesting, these are magical potion recipes, O'Ferries acknowledges, intrigued. I am not sure if I understand all this completely, but perhaps we can make ourselves a few potions. Let's do an intelligence check on O'Ferries and see how this goes. Needing a 17 or less from O'Ferries, a 19 was rolled. Failure, alas, I can't read these recipes well enough to understand them, O'Ferries sighs, folding the parchment and putting it back again. Another time, perhaps. Is it getting hotter in here? Ariana asks, wiping the sweat from her forehead. Watch out! Sainairs yells from behind you, backing your party away. Standing there near the hearth is a tall fire elemental, about to attack. Defending yourselves, let's do a party curiosity check to see if you notice anything else here in the heat of the moment. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 12 was rolled. Failure, where did that come from? Eswin barks, readying his weapon. No idea. O'Ferries responds, readying herself. But these things are dangerous, be careful. As the fire elemental approaches to attack, its heat already singeing your clothes, let's check your inventory and see if there is anything you can use to better defend yourselves. Recalling the bowl of elemental control you just found in the dining hall to the north, you retrieve the bowl from your pack, clang the bowl with a fingernail and recite a magical word relating to fire. At once the approaching fire elemental halts, you seem to now control it. Ask it to return to the hearth, O'Ferries suggests, pointing to the large fireplace there. You nod and mentally will the elemental to retreat, the magical creature returning to the hearth where you originally found it. Well done, the encounter ends with nobody getting hurt, including the elemental. Let's award the party with some bonus experience points. Each hero earns 444 experience points. The encounter here in the kitchen over, it's time to leave, your only option the single door to the north. Barthol has a 55% chance of picking the lock and rolls a 13 on percentile dice. Success. The cabinet is unlocked and now easily opened. Inside, you find 100 rations. Janet nods and takes the 100 rations. A quick search finds that the well has 100 water skins. Janet nods and takes the 100 water skins. Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel north, taking a few moments to arrive, the chamber. Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel north, taking a few moments to arrive. Shining some of your light into this massive chamber, it only goes so far, leaving the far northern wall in darkness. Lining the western and eastern walls are dozens of bunk beds, most of which have been damaged recently and all of which appear to be empty. Scattered about are dozens of broken pieces of furniture, mostly containers, trunks, footlockers, small chests, and the like. You don't see anyone here, but given all the shadows and darkness, you suspect that there are more night trolls lurking within. Of course, you will need to step in and do a thorough search if you want to learn anything more. Braving the assumed dangers within, your party searches the southern half of the Grand Chamber, intuitively staying away from the darkness to the north. It's clear that the room was some sort of barracks for the Dark Elves, and you guess that 50 to 100 once dwelled here, jammed together without much room for personal space. Let's do a party intelligence check and see if you determine anything more within the barracks. Needing a 14 or less from your heroes, a 8 was rolled. Success, given that everything here has been handmade, including a diversity of personal items, images on the walls, tools lying about and so forth, you guess that the drow dwelling here were artisans, specialists at crafting all manner of things. Where they've gone, of course, is anyone's guess. We are definitely not alone, O'Ferries finally whispers, pointing north. There are more of those night trolls here, just waiting to attack us. We should leave. I was thinking the same thing, Sainairs adds, staring into the darkness to the north. There may be more monsters here than we can handle. Is someone there? A soft voice suddenly emanates from the northeastern corner, taking your party by surprise. The voice sounded like a young, very scared dark elf. What do you do? Choose an option: altruism, investigate the voice beyond; diplomacy, answer back to the voice; reason, avoid the monsters and leave. The altruism score for Janet remains the same, despite the danger. You nod affirmatively, asking O'Ferries to lead the way with her stone of permanent light. Your heroes agreeing to try and make a rescue despite the danger, all of you leap toward the source of the voice to the northeast. Avoiding the shadows, you quickly reach the far corner, the area full of more bunk beds, cabinets, lockers, and the like. Where are you? Eswin calls out, frantically looking about. Standing there, you spot movement from the nearby shadows. It appears there are dozens of night trolls very close by, about to attack. Sensing that you are nearly out of time, a modest chest slowly opens, two frightened eyes appearing within. Acting quickly, O'Ferries steps over to the chest and flips the lid open, revealing a very scared young dark elf woman. Come, child. O'Ferries cries, grabbing her hand and pulling her out of the chest. Go. Eswin cries, pointing back toward the door leading into the barracks. As the monstrous night trolls begin their assault, let's do a party dexterity check to see if you can outrun them or not. Your party heroes suffer some claw damage as they escape, the young drow unable to run fast enough. Your party is nearly swarmed by dozens of night trolls and you're forced to hack your way back to the open doorway, taking some damage along the way. Reaching the stone door leading into the barracks, your heroes escape the chamber and slam the door shut, escaping what would have been a gruesome death at the hands of all those night trolls. For the moment, it appears you are safe. After taking a moment to catch her breath, O'Ferries turns toward the dark elf woman, eyes her carefully and then addresses her, initiating a conversation. Child, you are the first dark elf we've found down here. Can you tell us what happened? The mystery girl is still quite frightened, and although you've rescued her, she's intimidated by your party as well. Realizing this, Ariana steps to her and smiles, taking her hand to try and calm her nerves. Needing a 14 or less from Ariana, a 10 was rolled. Success. Who are all of you? The young drow asks, still very afraid but putting some initial trust in Ariana. We're chasing someone, an older sorcerer who's hurt a lot of people, Ariana returns, an appropriate response. Have you seen any older humans recently? I haven't seen anyone in days, the dark elf responds. We were attacked, and even our strongest soldiers were no match for the magic users who invaded. I hid myself back in that special chest, and heard all manner of horrible things. We're sorry to ask, Kartha continues, her natural concern reassuring. But what did you hear in that chest? The screams of my fellow artisans, mostly, the dark elf stutters, on the verge of tears. There were more than 60 of us, all trapped inside the barracks. Several hours after the magic users attacked, I heard all my co-workers scream, then the barracks went quiet. That's when I noticed those things throughout the chamber. They were turned into those things. And how did you survive? Eswin asks, somewhat suspicious of the dark elf story. That chest you were in, it was lined with anti-magic, wasn't it? O'Ferries asks of the drow before turning to you. I noticed my permanent lightstone flicker out while I was rescuing the child. The anti-magic shell within the chest apparently saved her from being turned into these night trolls as well. I didn't know, the dark elf states, perhaps not recognizing how lucky she was. I was just trying to hide. The circle wizards who attacked your fortress turned everyone here into trolls, O'Ferries responds to the young dark elf. It looks like you're the only survivor. They were after the Wizardbane, Eswin comments, turning toward the dark elf. Young lass, can you tell us anything about it? How do you know about the Wizardbane? The woman asks, her suspicion aroused. How do I even know it wasn't you who attacked us? We are now hated enemies of the circle as well, Redfern responds, shaking his head. They'd kill us quickly if they were here. You have nothing to fear from us. If I tell you what I know, will you let me go in peace? The dark elf asks, recognizing an opportunity. You can go right now if you wish, Kartha responds with a smile. We're glad you're safe. But if there is anything you can share with us about the Wizardbane, we would be most grateful. Think of it as a way to reward us for rescuing you, O'Ferries suggests. The young woman considers, eyeing each of you carefully. Let's do a party spirit check and see how this goes. Needing a 13 or less from your heroes, a 14 was rolled. Failure. Although you all but saved her life, the young dark elf decides to say nothing and simply walks away, escaping through the dining hall to the south. That's disappointing, of course, but you honor her decision and let her leave. The northern door to the artisan barracks closed, the chamber beyond full of monsters that could easily overwhelm you if you returned. It's time to move on. Your only recourse is the single door to the south. Travel alert, returning to the magical door, you take 10 minutes to arrive. If there is something in your inventory you think will work, go ahead and use that item to try and open the door. Otherwise, you will need to turn around and further search the areas to the south, as there is no possible way of continuing north here. Janet offers uses the drow stronghold golden key. As you retrieve the drow golden key from your pack, an appropriate keyhole suddenly appears in the door, the key a perfect fit. Giving the key a turn, the door unlocks and then opens, allowing you to continue. The door open, you can now continue north and into what appears to be a simple checkpoint beyond. Alternatively, you can retreat south again as well. Travel alert, using the unlocked door, you travel north, taking a few moments to arrive, getting past the massive metallic door to the south, your party throws some light into what appears to be a simple office chamber with a desk, chair, a few cabinets, and nothing else. Another closed stone door occupies the northern wall, while open hallways lead away to the west and east. Naturally, you will want to do a quick search of the room to see if there is anything else here. Well, your party does not find anything more within the chamber. Still, nothing jumps out of the darkness and attacks you either, so that's positive. Indeed, the room here seems fairly safe and secure. If you wanted to rest and recover your spells at this point, this seems like a good place to do so. The relatively empty chamber here is safe and secure. Doors allow exit to the north and south, while open doorways lead away to the west and east, 2 additional doors visible down each hallway as well. Barthol has a 55% chance of picking the lock and rolls a 37 on percentile dice. Success. The desk is unlocked and now easily opened. Inside, you find 1 scroll of Bane, 1 scroll of Cause Blindness, 1 scroll of Slow and 1 scroll of Summon Python. Janet nods and takes everything from within the immediate area. Janet casts Cure Light Wounds on herself, healing her for 7 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 10 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Light Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 8 hit points. GM note, your source of light has just gone out, your party rests and recovers for 8 hours. Wounds are tended, spells are memorized and your heroes are refreshed and re-energized. Janet casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Eswin, healing him for 12 hit points. Janet casts Cure Light Wounds on Marialeth, healing her for 5 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Oferes, healing her for 9 hit points. Sainairs casts Cure Light Wounds on himself, healing him for 3 hit points. Your party rests and recovers for 8 hours. Wounds are tended, spells are memorized, and your heroes are refreshed and re-energized. Ariana uses a glowing skull throughout the entire local area, illuminating everything well. Travel alert: using the hallway, you travel west, taking 10 minutes to arrive. Passing through an open doorway from the corridor to the south, you shine your light into a tremendously large underground workroom, much of the chamber still encased in darkness. Your eyes are drawn to what appears to be advanced metallurgical equipment throughout the room, an intricate system of forges, anvils and smelting pots that occasionally flicker with residual heat, while the air is heavy with the acrid scent of molten metal. There are likely night trolls in here hiding in the darkness, but the only way to know more about the chamber is to step inside and have a look around. While you can't see all the room from your current vantage point, or even half of it, you can tell that it's a large metallurgy workroom, a place the drow use to fabricate and work with various metals. All the tools and machinery here are impressive, the dark elves quite sophisticated in terms of working metallic items, perhaps too sophisticated if one adheres to Syslus code stating that too much technology is evil. Looking about, let's do a party curiosity check and see if you notice anything more here. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 3 was rolled. Success: sure, it does not take much to notice that the equipment and machinery here have been modified very recently, transforming the workroom more into a makeshift fort. If there are trolls in here, they've done a lot to protect themselves. Continuing to look about, it becomes clear that to thoroughly inspect the chamber, and find anything worth finding, you will need to do something about the night trolls that are lurking here in the darkness along the northern wall. How do you wish to proceed? Choose an option: dexterity, use stealth to advance; intelligence, try to lure the trolls out; strength, assault the trolls head on. These monsters have likely protected themselves, O'Ferris warns, looking about. The way ahead is probably trapped, so we need to draw them out. I will dim the light and we will lie down and pretend to rest. That should get them to attack us here, where it's likely safer. Your party agrees and sits down, dousing most of your light and plunging the area into near total darkness. It takes nearly an hour of sitting in the darkness, but eventually the night trolls drop down beside your party to investigate. O'Ferris then reveals her permanent lightstone again and the monsters attack, initiating utter chaos. Your party is under attack. About to attack your party are 7 night trolls. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet casts Spiritual Hammer on Night Troll number 2, bashing it for 6 points of damage for 10 minutes. It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana uses a Boots of Speed on herself, allowing herself to act twice each round for 5 minutes. It's Kartha's turn. What do you want her to do? Kartha casts Spiritual Hammer on Night Troll number 2, bashing it for 6 points of damage for 10 minutes. It's O'Ferris' turn. What do you want her to do? O'Ferris casts Ice Storm on roughly half of all encountered combatants. Night Troll number 1 is pummeled for 23 points of damage, needing a 14. It's Redfern's turn. What do you want him to do? Redfern casts Fireball on roughly half of all encountered combatants, blasting them in an explosion of flame. Night Troll number 1 is burned for 25 points of damage, needing a 14 or greater. It's Barthal's turn. What do you want him to do? Needing a 50 or less on percentile dice, A 51 is rolled. Failure. Barthol tries to blend into the shadows but is unsuccessful, remaining visible to all combatants. It's Eswin's turn. What do you want? Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Marioleth casts Magic Missile on Night Troll number 5, striking it with a magic missile. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative, Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 3, needing a 16 to hit. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a Janet uses a blink dog on Night Troll number 3, biting it for 1 point of damage for a half hour. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 5, needing a 16 to hit. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 50 or less on percentile dice. A 77 is rolled. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. O'Ferries readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4. Janet directs her spiritual hammer at Night Troll number 3, bashing it for 4 points of damage. Kartha directs her spiritual hammer at Night Troll number 4, bashing it for 5 points of damage. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4. Barthol readies his short sword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16. It's O'Ferris' turn. What do you want her to do? O'Ferris readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 10, +7 to hit. Ariana hits Night Troll number 4, doing 9 points of damage and defeating it. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 735 experience points. Temporarily defeating the Night Trolls, the light carried by your party negates their regenerative ability to reverse their defeat in the dark, and you're able to dispatch the monsters permanently. The drow metallurgists here must have all been transformed into Night Trolls too, along with everyone else, O'Ferries assumes, looking about. These makeshift fortifications they built are rather impressive. And look at all these weapons they created, Ariana suggests, finding a small cache sitting on a heavy table. It's as if they were expecting enemies. No, more that the Dark Elves simply devolved into a more trollish way of thinking, Redfern suggests, also looking about. Their transformation must have been very recent, just a few days ago. Spending the next half hour looking around, your heroes find all manner of interesting metallic items, tools, machines, and whatnot, but nothing that will help with your current adventure. Hence, it's probably time to leave. Before you depart, however, let's do a party curiosity check and see if you discover anything else here within the metallurgy workroom. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 20 was rolled. Failure. What's this? Ariana suddenly shouts from the far north-central area of the workroom. Stepping to her, she points to a large metallic trapdoor in the floor, the gate so heavy that it requires nearly all of you to lift it. Peering down into the blackness, you will need to follow a small stairway down if you want to descend and investigate. The trolls here defeated, the workroom thoroughly investigated, and a trapdoor leading down into a lower level discovered and opened as well. It's time to move on. Note that, recognizing the importance of this area, O'Ferries makes a note about the metallurgy workroom on your map, ensuring that you can easily return if you need. Barthol has a 55% chance of picking the lock and rolls a 65 on percentile dice. Failure, the chest remains locked and impassable to the party. Marioleth has a 45. Janet casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 20. Kartha casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 18 hit points. Travel alert, using the stairway, you travel down, taking a minute to arrive. Descending the dark stairway, you enter what appears to be a large vault, a storage place for the metallurgy workroom above. The sharp smell of ore and processed metal is strong down here, so strong that you can almost taste it. Directing your light about the chamber, you see quite a lot of metallic material, some of it boxed but much of it just lying about. Naturally, you will need to further explore the vault if you want to learn anything more here. Carefully searching the vault, you find a variety of ores, virgin sheets of metal that could potentially be worked into almost anything, metallic fasteners and so forth, more metal than you've ever seen before in a single place. If you were looking to build an iron golem, assuming you had the magical as well as metallurgic expertise, you'd have all the supplies needed right here. There is nothing down here of any use, Eswin complains, wiping a bit of sweat from his brow. Let's go. Before you depart, let's do a party curiosity check and see if you notice anything further here. Needing a 11 or less from your heroes, a 14 was rolled. Failure, no, you don't notice anything further. There are a few additional objects down here, however, that you may want to inspect. Always inquisitive, Ariana continues to look about, hoping to find something of interest. The rest of you, however, take a seat upon the bottom stair leading up, ready to return to the upper level. Deciding to take a quick look at the tarp hanging from the ceiling, you quickly recognize that it conceals a small space in the southwestern corner. Pulling the tarp in one direction, the back wall reveals something quite interesting, a small, slightly glowing keyhole alongside a lever in the up position. While the keyhole obviously needs some sort of key, the lever appears to be locked in place, you can't currently push it down. Is there something in your inventory perhaps that may work in the keyhole? Janet offers uses the drow stronghold golden key. Retrieving the key you found earlier in the bedroom, you try the keyhole, the object a perfect fit. Giving the key a turn, the glowing area around the keyhole brightens in intensity, visually cueing you that something has been engaged. Now what? Sainairs asks, waiting for something to happen. The metallic lever no longer locked in place, Eswin steps forward and pushes the lever down as far as it will go, the object making a definitive snapping noise as it's manipulated into place. So, what did that do? The warrior wonders aloud, turning back to you. It's likely part of a bigger puzzle, O'Ferry's responds, approving of Eswin's manipulation of the lever. That's probably all we can do here. With the magical keyhole turned and the lever pulled down, you sense O'Ferry's is correct, you've done all you can here and it's time to move on. Stone steps leading back up to the metallurgy workroom is your only egress from this well-organized chamber. GM note, your source of light has just gone out, your party rests and recovers for 8 hours. Wounds are tended, spells are memorized and your heroes are refreshed and re-energized. Ariana uses a glowing skull throughout the entire local area, illuminating everything well. Travel alert, using the stairway, you travel up, taking a minute to arrive. Note that, recognizing the importance of this area, O'Ferries makes a note about the metallurgy workroom on your map, ensuring that you can easily return if you need. Travel alert, using the hallway, you travel east, taking 5 minutes to arrive, passing through the door in the southern wall of this massive chamber, you throw some light into its center, the far western, northern, and eastern walls still bathed in darkness. The air is heavy with the scent of wood shavings and resin, hinting at the purpose of this place as a woodworking workroom of the Dark Elves, and now, likely, a lair for yet more night trolls. Suddenly, some sort of fiery arrow or magic missile comes screaming at your party, narrowly missing Redfern and ricocheting off the southern wall. You're under attack. What do you do? Choose an option: attack, full frontal assault. Attack, remain and return fire. Attack, scatter and find cover. Scatter, and use what you can as cover. You cry, ordering your heroes into the large chamber. Leaping forward, you notice that the workroom has a high ceiling supported by sturdy wooden beams, and that wooden furnishings and half-completed wooden sculptures stand about as well, providing the temporary cover you need as you advance. Indeed, several more flaming arrows are shot at you as you advance, but your chosen tactic seems to work and nobody is harmed as you race across the floor. Finally reaching the far northern end of the workroom, you quickly engage with the half a dozen or so night trolls, one of whom was using a beautiful, glowing longbow to attack with, alongside a fiery hearth that provided the fire for its arrows. The monsters then waste no time tearing into your party. The battle is on. Your party is under attack. Facing the entire party are 6 night trolls. It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at night troll number 5. Redfern casts fireball on roughly half of all encountered combatants, blasting them in an explosion of flame. Night troll number 1 is burned for 28 points of damage. O'Ferries casts Ice Storm on roughly half of all encountered combatants. Night troll number 1 is pummeled for 24 points of damage. It's Murieleth's turn. What do you want her to do? Murieleth uses a glowing skull throughout the entire local area, illuminating everything well. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet casts Cause Moderate Wounds on Night Troll number 3, nearly wounding it, needing... Sainadius casts Cause Moderate Wounds on Night Troll number 3, nearly wounding it, needing a 14 or greater. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 3, needing a 50 or less on percentile dice. A 54 is rolled. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is rolled, with higher values acting first. It's Ariana's turn. What do you want her to do? Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4. Sainadius readies his mace +1 and swings at Night Troll. Murieleth casts Magic Missile on Night Troll number 4, striking it with a magic missile for 6 points of damage. It's Janet's turn. What do you want her to do? Janet readies her mace +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Redfern casts magic missile on Night Troll number 4, striking it with a magic missile for 9 points of damage. Arthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Kartha readies her mace +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. O'Ferries readies her quarterstaff +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4. GM note, a new combat round has begun. Initiative is roll. Ariana readies her longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing. Arthal readies his short sword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing. Eswin readies his longsword +2 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Marioleth readies her longsword +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Redfern readies his quarterstaff +1 and swings at Night Troll number 4, needing a 16 to hit. Die roll is a 19, +5 to hit. Redfern hits Night Troll number 4, doing 8 points of damage and defeating it. Well done. All combatants have been defeated, ending the battle. Each hero receives 630 experience points. Temporarily defeating the Night Trolls, the light carried by your party negates their regenerative ability to reverse their defeat in the dark, and you're able to dispatch the monsters permanently. This is beautiful. Ariana exclaims with excitement, picking the finely carved bow up off the floor where one of the trolls had just dropped it. Carefully examining the bow and pulling the string taut a few times to test it, O'Ferries steps over to Ariana to look as well. The drow do make exceptional weapons, the sorceress comments, impressed. It's certainly magical. May I see it? Examining the bow itself and sensing it with her magic, O'Ferries smiles and hands the new weapon back to Ariana. It's a magical dark elven longbow, the sorceress offers, recognizing such a rare find. They generate twice the force with each draw of the string, basically doing twice the damage of any regular bow. Put it to good use down here. Ariana nods and secures the weapon, certainly the best bow she has ever held. Don't forget to click the items button and equip Ariana's new bow. This is obviously where the drow worked their wood, Redfern observes, changing the subject and looking around. I am guessing the elves caught here when the circle attacked the stronghold were turned into the Night Trolls we just defeated. They were masters of the craft, Kartha further observes, looking about at all the nearby items and objects here within the workroom. The circle be damned for what they've done to these elves. Not used to such anger from Kartha, you order your party to spread out and take a thorough look around. While the chamber had held hundreds of useful, beautiful, well-sculpted objects and items until very recently, the Night Trolls have ruined nearly all of it. There is really nothing more here to review or salvage. In the far northwestern corner, however, you encounter an immense statue-like being made entirely of wood, some 8 feet high and standing at attention. In its hands are heavy chains that ascend to the ceiling, as if the wooden construct is intended to pull on them. The object is intriguing and your party gathers around it to take a closer look. I believe this is a golem, O'Ferries postulates, intrigued by the find. Be careful, it could attack. What's with the chains? Eswin asks, tracing them back up to the ceiling with his eyes. Are those the same chains back there? Ariana asks, pointing into the shadows 20 feet away. Sure enough, another pair of heavy iron chains descend from the ceiling into the floor, attached to what appears to be an iron grate and impossible to open. What would you like to try here? Choose an option: charisma, talk to the wooden being; intelligence, study the entire contraption; strength, try lifting the gate yourselves. Studying what you believe to be a wood golem holding those massive chains, it seems like it's intended to pull on them to lift the iron grate open. The challenge is figuring out how to activate the golem. So far, Nothing you've tried has worked. Hence, let's do a party intelligence check and see how this works out. Needing a 13 or less from Janet, a 13 was rolled. Success, it takes 5 or 10 minutes, but soon O'Fairies recognizes the trigger word open, in the drow language, activating the wood golem here. The golem pulls on the stone chains, slowly heaving the massive iron grate open. A minute later, the golem ceases with its pulling, the grate now fully open. Peering into complete darkness below, there is a small stairway here you can descend if you wish. That does not look inviting. Ariana comments, the sentiment shared by all your heroes. The encounter's here complete, it's time to move on. You can retreat through the southern door or, if you're feeling especially brave, descend through the opening just created by the wood golem and see where that takes you. Janet casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 14 hit points. Kartha casts Cure Moderate Wounds on Ariana, healing her for 13 hit points. Barthol has a 55% chance of picking the lock and rolls a 51 on percentile dice. Success. The cabinet is unlocked and now easily opened. Unfortunately, the cabinet has nothing of value.